Hello, good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of Wealth Creation through Industrialization. I am Hadiza, Olaosebikan. On tonight's program, we shall continue to showcase Bank of Industry's regular consultations with other stakeholders in pursuit of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's agenda to transform the Nigeria's economy to one of the top 20 by the year 2020. As you will recall, with the recent rebasing exercise, Nigeria is now the biggest economy in Africa. In order to sustain the momentum, the Bank of Industry, under the leadership of Mr. Rasheed Adejare Olaoluwa, is reaching out to foreign and domestic development partners in its drive to achieve the bank's core mandate of transforming Nigeria's industrial sector. One of such reach-out programs is a recent visit made by the bank to the Federal Institute for Industrial Research, FIIRO, where the bank's management team interacted with FIIRO management. Here are highlights of the visit. Happy viewing. In its engaging drive to develop the Nigerian industrial sector through innovations and linkages with various development partners, the Bank of Industry's management team, led by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Rasheed Olaoluwa, visited the Federal Institute for Industrial Research, FIIRO, to review strategies to deepen relationships that would aid the realization of their mandates. Welcoming the Bank of Industry team to her office, the Director General of FIIRO, Mrs. Gloria Elemo, commended the efforts of the MD in his proactive engagement of various stakeholders.
On your appointment, we started planning a visit to Bank of Industry. And before we could fine-tune our arrangement to visit you, you wrote us that you want to come to see us. We were very excited, and I'm happy you made it. Thank you very much. It shows the willingness and the drive for success and patriotism in particular, that you don't have to wait for protocol before you move for success and achievement. It's an exemplary behavior, and I think it's something we should all buy into, especially in Nigeria, for us to be able to move our country to where we are expected to be.
After an incisive presentation on the activities of the institution on the development of various technologies to assist micro, small and medium enterprises across the country to process Nigerian agri-produce and solid minerals into finished products, she expressed her optimism in the partnership between FIIRO and BOI.
I do hope that with this courtesy visit today, we will be able to strike a harmonious chord that will help to achieve the objectives of the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan. If I may borrow the words of the Honorable Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, that Mr. Segun Aganga, it is time to build on our competitive advantage and turn our quantity advantage to productive advantage. In conclusion, I want to express my profound gratitude to you, sir, and your team for honoring FIIRO, because we consider this an honor with your courtesy visit.
While commending the DG of FIIRO on her achievements, the MD of BOI stressed the need for the two partners in progress to be more creative and proactive in the drive to industrialize the country.
On behalf of my colleagues, we'd like to express our deepest appreciation for this warm reception and for the content, very insightful content of your presentation. There are several areas of collaboration. Clearly we can collaborate in terms of how can we bring this information to the whole public, to the general public. How can we promote these technologies that you have developed? How can we make it, available to people? How can we exhibit these technologies how can we support the process of fabricating the equipment, you know. So I think we'd like to create an ecosystem for industrial development. That is key. So for us as Bank of Industry, we are not just looking at disbursing loans, we are looking at how can we create an ecosystem that will function towards industrializing the country. Okay, and I think we are clearly partners, you know, along those lines.
He also highlighted the creative steps being taken by the Bank of Industry in the area of technology and innovations to support the MSMEs in the country.
One of the key strategic initiatives that we are pursuing at the Bank of Industry is the linkage between centers of innovation and industry, because we have to be forward-looking. We have to be forward-thinking. We must make progress. The only way to make progress is to be able to come up with creative ideas, you know, local, low-cost technologies that can help accelerate our growth domestically. I'm very glad that FIIRO has touched on a number of products. In fact, like you mentioned, all agri-products, from gari, you know, which is now exported, you know, to Europe, to cassava flour, the bread initiatives, the instant pounded yam, tomato puree, fruit juice, palm oil, edible and non-edible oil, fish smoking, exactly, very, very long list. You know, my page is filled up. I'm extremely excited. When Mr. President launched the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan, he also launched the National Enterprise Development Program, NEDEP. And one of the key initiatives under the NEDEP is what's called the One Local Government, One Product, OLOP. The whole idea is that in every local government there must be at least one product that we can focus on to develop it and create that competitive drive around it. So I'm really very glad we're fully in alignment in terms of helping to industrialize our dear country, helping to create jobs, because that's a major objective. It's one way in which we can make the GDP felt by the masses of Nigerians. You know, people talk about, okay, high GDP growth, but we can't feel it. It's one way to make people feel it is to actually adopt this industrialization that is based on agri products.
The BOI management team were also engaged by scientists in the institute in an interactive session.
Looking at, I don't know if you have any influence on the policies that can support this area. Fine, we are leaving the era of import substitution now, but notwithstanding, you know, we have this challenge of when you visit industry, you take your technologies to them, you want to introduce what you're doing. There's a kind of appetite. It's a big problem that the government has to find a solution to. You can see the number of technologies that we have developed. We're doing our own thing in our own way. We have a linkage division in the institute. When the DG saw the need of this, he established the division, and this is supposed to link us with the industries. We've been doing house visiting, trying to promote our technologies, but there must be some policies put in place, you know, to ensure that the linkage is established.
What Bank of Industry is trying to do now is, rather than more or less appeal to industry to adopt your technology, what we want to do is to support the small-scale industrialists that will come to FIIRO and obtain the relevant equipment for each of these value chain activities. So for instance, you want to produce cassava flour, you already have the equipment, and you have an arrangement with the fabricators.
Yeah.
So 500,000, even 1 million, a couple of millions, we can finance them, okay, for them to get the equipment. So by the time they begin to show success stories, you know, the bigger entities will be attracted, you know, to similar technologies, and, you know, a lot of things can begin to happen. So one of the things we're going to see in the next few weeks is that we're going to launch a product that will be dedicated to agro-processing sector, for small-scale entrepreneurs. We believe that will encourage that linkage between the research center and the industry.
Is there any plan for the smallholder farmers to add value to the crop? Is there any way that we can support these people? Because these are the major producers of our crop, and they are the one in Africa. 90% of them are right here. So, is there any way we want to support them?
That's the whole essence of the agro-processing products we are coming up with. It's going to accommodate up to 10 million naira, but it can be anything from 100,000 to that 10 million. And the whole idea is right there at the farm, in the rural locations, you can have a small piece of equipment that you can use to process that farm output into either a full product or some ultimate materials for industry. It is clear to us that this is one of the biggest ways to create jobs in this country, and it will be nationwide because every state has at least 3 products that they can pursue on a commercial venture basis.
In the past, BOI has assisted in bringing experts to Nigeria to come and train. This we did once, that we brought 3 Asians to come and train on craft. And it went well. A lot of people benefited, and we assembled people from all over the country to somewhere in Olaosebikan, first phase for 30 days, and another 30 days in FIIRO. So the same thing can be done to the engineers and the fabricators of equipment. We can bring engineers from Asia or from even Europe to come and assist in training these people in equipment fabrication in a way that it will meet the international standard.
The capacity building for equipment fabricators, that is something that we'll be prepared to consider, especially for the accredited fabricators. In other words, there are people that you're already working with who have experience, and we can maybe determine a number, put them in a classroom, and I don't know, I believe you have information as to the relevant people that can be brought in to train these people, over a few days or a couple of weeks. So we'll be willing to look at this.
When we visited the Main Street Microfinance Bank, they did say that there is no moratorium for beneficiaries from the facility, and also it is between 3 to 6 months. So you will agree with me that when it's a manufacturing venture, there will be need for more time for repayment, and there may also be need for maybe a period of moratorium. What can you do, sir, to assist our beneficiaries in this respect?
The issue of the tenure of the facility, Main Street should have been able to give a tenure of at least 30 months, and there should be moratorium attached to it, because even lending to them for on-lending to the bottom of the pyramid, we gave them moratorium. So there's no way they should say there's no moratorium and then now giving tenures of 3 to 6 months. But with this feedback we've got from you, we are going to investigate and then call them to order, because we have the right. If they are not operating the scheme the way it is designed and it's going against the objectives of the scheme, we have the right to call the facility. So we'll look into that, I assure you. On the issue of the interest rate is structured such that the ultimate beneficiary gets it as single digits, all in of 9.5.
Including fees.
Including fees. Including fees, yes. 9.5. That is what it's supposed to be. But if they are charging anything in excess of that, please, if we can have that information, evidence, then we'll definitely take them up.
I think the press were a bit jittery about utilization of the 10 billion cassava fund, but all didn't come to BOI. I think it's a percentage.
Exactly. So,
that came to, but because we are housing processors and marketers in the institute, we had the mandate to put that group together. So that is where our interest, comes in, to make sure that they actually benefit from that is cassava processors and marketers.
We got 3.44 billion only out of the 10 billion. We got 3.44 billion, out of that amount. So for the first batch of 35, we've already concluded, and not only that disbursement has started, installation of the equipment started about 3 weeks ago, and it has continued, non-stop.
some equipment have been fully installed.
In fact, test run has been done, and production has started on the flash dryers that were done by Nobex. Okay? Apart from the flash dryer, other complement of equipment have been procured. The only thing we are now disbursing on that first band now is just the working capital, because we were waiting for the equipment to be installed. Now, talking about the master bakers, we've secured approval about 2.2 billion for the first batch of 130 master bakers. And out of that, about 50% we have already placed order for the equipment. The only thing is that for them, they are importing the equipment, so it will take about 6 weeks for them to be delivered. So in the next maybe 2-3 weeks or thereabout, delivery of most of this equipment will start. So what we have done now was purely based on the list that we got between the associations and the ministry to kick off this program.
Thereafter, they were conducted around the institution's facilities as well as their research and development department, where the MD interacted with scientists at the institution.
Sir, you are welcome. This is pork and paper laboratory, sir. And we have quite a number of paper samples we produce from various agro waste and some annual plants. For instance, this was produced here actually, and we printed on them. This is like filter paper. We made it to suit the purpose of extracting materials from other samples, and these are also some paper samples we produce from agro waste. But these are all different grades of paper samples we can produce.
And I guess different thicknesses, right?
And the reason for this is because we improvised. Because if we have the right equipment, we are going to do far better than this.
Here we produce laundry soap. We have new products that have extracts from the neem plant, and we use those to produce soaps, shampoos, toothpaste. Then we have a couple of products on the that's the FIIRO laundry soap that we have. So we have the white one and the green one, and we also have the liquid soap. We're just developing the technology for this.
Here we do most of the beneficiation of solid mineral for industrial use. And every of the solid mineral on the table are found in different parts of the country, but they cannot be used on their own like that, except we do beneficiation on them. And some of them require just crushing, milling them into fine powder to use. Some go through heat treatment, like the gypsum, before you can get into POP form. And then to get precipitated calcium carbonate from limestone or dolomite. For most of the paint industry, ceramic industry, they use them also. For gypsum, pharmaceutical industries, they also use them. And also the ceramic industry for molds production and every other material here.
These are brake parts, for instance, tested for vehicles, made from agro waste, palm kernel shell. This is the fufu I talked about.
Like a nice
Odorless. This is the high quality cassava, which is what you we have different grades as a palm, right? This is our tapioca. We are even doing a new research now where we are working on alternate drying method for high quality cassava flour that will need all the gigantic drying method, and it will be very fast and more affordable. The cheaper, the better. So we are almost tidying up we are finishing up the R&D very soon. So we'll bring it out soon.
The two development partners were also engaged by the members of the media.
We are going to work together to make sure that the youth are empowered and buying into our technology and entrepreneurship program, which we are developing here. The bank can actually assist in the area of finance, mostly at very single-digit interest rates for young entrepreneurs. These are areas we are looking at. From the visit now, is more enlightened to know that we have all it takes in the SMEs. All we need now is the willpower to move these R&D results to the market, to be able to move and put in strategies. In fact, we have strategies, we have policies. Is the implementation. And the first major step to implementation is this type of partnership, this type of visit, this type of collaboration. I want to congratulate the MD of Bank of Industry for moving the initiative to find FIIRO very relevant to the innovation platform and solve the problem of job employment in this country.
We at BOI also believe very strongly that there should be a direct linkage between innovation centers and our industry. All the arms of government and agencies, that have anything to do with science and technology, that have anything to do with industrializing this country, that have anything to do with job creation, should rally around FIIRO, to support it, because it is clear that this is one way we can really help to industrialize this country. If you take the agri-products that they have worked on here very extensively, in terms of the spread of those products, the areas where those products are produced, they are nationwide. In every local government, we have agri-products that, using the equipment developed by FIIRO, we can set up small-scale industries to help in processing such products, from basic agri-products into food products, into raw materials for industries. I think this is the foundation for Nigeria's industrialization, and we at Bank of Industry, we support all the efforts. At BOI, we're working on a product, like I mentioned earlier, that will support agro-processing, that will be targeted specifically at agro-processing, and I think in the next few weeks, not months, in the next few weeks, we will come to the public to give the details. This is one veritable platform that we can use as a country to help in creating millions of jobs for our youths.
With research already conducted in key areas where the nation has comparative and competitive advantage, BOI and FIIRO have concluded plans to review intervention strategies that will drive agro-processing in line with their mandate. The move will include interventions that will aid the country's transformation from farming to developing small-scale enterprises, food processing, and industrialized agro-industries. Welcome back. That was the right step in the right direction and a promising one for micro, small and medium enterprises in the country, if you will agree with me. Well, you heard it all from the two development partners. We shall keep you posted on this program as the implementations of their lofty plans unfold. It's on this note that we'll conclude this week's edition of the program. Till we'll come your way next week for another interesting edition. It's good evening and have an enterprising week.